Hey, Shira Entrepreneur, it's Kenya Halliburton here, and I want to tell you about a 180 day, 6-month commitment that I've made to put my business, my marketing on autopilot so that I can market my business virtually hands-free and do more of what I love. And I'm going to bring you along for the journey. Are you interested in doing something like that? Well, join me on today's kickoff episode of the Money Marketing and Freedom Secrets podcast, and I'll tell you all about it.
Welcome to the Money, Marketing, and Freedom Secrets podcast, the show that equips Shero entrepreneurs with powerful strategies and inspiration to launch, manage, and grow successful online businesses. You'll discover the secrets to mastering all the moving pieces of your online business so you can be free to enjoy life and show up to serve the people who need you now while making a good living doing what you love. Now, it's time to unleash your inner Shero and free yourself from the web of confusion and overwhelm so you can master your client-getting, profit-winning superpowers and live your profitable purpose. Here's your host.
All right. Hey, Shira Entrepreneurs. Welcome to the first episode of the Money Marketing and Freedom Secrets podcast. You don't know how much work went into this. Let me tell you. So I'm really excited that you're hanging out with me. Thank you for spending your time listening to this or watching this, whichever you're doing right now. I'm excited. The Money Marketing and Freedom Secrets podcast has been a long time in the making, let me tell you. And for all my mompreneurs out there and for all my grandmoms and for my caregivers, you can relate to this. I have a weekend without the boys. I have 3 little boys, ages 7, 6, and 3. So mama's getting a lot done, a lot of rest, and just a much needed break. I love my kids, but you know how it is. So anyway, I'm excited about this podcast. So let's just jump in here. Today, I want to go over a lot of things. Of course, the title of the podcast is The Hands-Free Marketing Project, How to Market Your Business with No Hands, Truman style. Anybody who's seen the Truman Show movie, you'll kind of get why I titled it that way here as I get into what I'm going to share with you today. So first, I'll just give you a little bit of background about me. I am an online business manager / content creation specialist / hands-free. I haven't really quite figured out how I want to title that. So for now, I'll just say hands-free sage or hands-free marketing advocate or something like that. You guys can maybe help me out, help me come up with something that works. So anyway, I started my business in 2007 and as a virtual assistant, and I started my business, unfortunately, in a very toxic environment. I, at the time, was expecting my first child with my husband who was in the military, and decided to launch my business. I've always been entrepreneurial and came across this whole virtual assistant thing, and I thought, wow, this is a great opportunity to, kind of scratch that entrepreneurial itch while staying at home with my newborn son because I didn't really want to leave him. You know how that is. And so anyway, long story short, I, started my business as a VA. Shortly thereafter, found out about Tina Forsyth's online business management certification. I'm not sure if she's still doing that right now. I'm pretty sure she probably is. So if anybody's interested in doing that, you can do that. It was really great training. So did that about maybe 2009-ish, maybe 2008, 2009-ish, and became certified as an online business manager. And just really, since then, got geeked out, just obsessed with how all the back end stuff, all the moving pieces that go into building an online business. And so I just geeked out on it for years. But the problem was that I was in an abusive marriage. I was in this abusive marriage for 10 years, actually. I'm out now that I'm talking to you. I'm out now, thank God. It's really fresh though, 6 months ago. But I'm out for good, praise God. And I was in this toxic relationship for all these years, raising three boys, trying to run a business, all kinds of drama that I will have to kind of share on maybe a different show. I don't have time to share it today, but um, it was just a very volatile and challenging time. And so, by the grace of God, I was able to get clients. I was able to have success online. But and just I had a lot of clients that were great, and that understood. But I mean, when you're building a business online, it's really hard to just the normal stuff that it takes to set up a business, the normal stuff that you have to work through to get over yourself and get out of your own way and all of that fun stuff. So just add, uh, you know, abuse and drama and trauma to the mix, and you got a really great, crazy cocktail, a great, really great, crazy cocktail. And so, anyway, I decided to finally leave that marriage because I had so first of all I was tired. Second of all, I had so much that I felt like was in me that I had to do and that I wanted to do, and I knew that if I stayed in that marriage, I would die. I would just kind of die physically, maybe literally. I would die spiritually. I was already kind of in a half dead state. And so I made the scary decision to leave 6 months ago. And I'll share with you that whole story because that's, something that I feel like needs to have a little bit more time to manage. And so we're here today. This podcast I actually started last year, towards the end of last year, 2014. And just because of me leaving my marriage and a lot of crazy stuff was happening, I had to put it on hold. So I'm really excited to be rolling this out now. So this is an on-demand podcast. And what that means is that I pre-record all the episodes because it just works for my life right now. Three boys, just not a lot of time, which fits into the theme today. So before I get into the theme and, topic for today, I want to just kind of talk to you about what the Money Marketing and Freedom Secrets podcast is all about. So first of all, the Money Marketing and Freedom Secrets podcast is it's a show for women entrepreneurs who want to launch, manage, and grow online businesses or expand an online business. And so basically right now, this is an experiment for me. I kind of don't know what I'm doing, but I'm practicing imperfect action because I am one of those people who can perfect a thing to death, and this will never happen. So this is imperfect action. So I hope that you can laugh with me, you can bear with me as we go on this journey. So anyway, what I anticipate is that I'll be sharing tips, inspiration, resources from all coming from my training as an online business manager, social media marketing specialist, content creation strategist, and ultimately my experience as a mompreneur, as somebody who has come from a place where I was trying to build my business in a very hard, toxic environment and all that comes with that. And I know I'm not the only one, so we'll talk about things like that and just more stuff to help you master your marketing, make more money, gain more freedom in your life and business, and all of that fun stuff. Because I went through what I went through, freedom is really, really important to me. Making money is really, really important to me. And mastering the whole marketing stuff is really important because, if you're trying to grow a business that serves other people and serves you as well, then got to be able to market effectively. You got to be able to make money, and you have to do it in a way that doesn't shackle you to your computer and your smartphone and your tablet all day long, right? So why should you tune into the show? There are a bunch of other shows, a bunch of other podcasts for women entrepreneurs out there, and quite frankly, many of them probably have a lot more experience than I do. better credentials, all that fun stuff. um, but I think my goal is to not just share with you the business side of stuff, but I also want to share with you the vulnerable side of things. You know, that's the side of marketing online and working from home that a lot of people don't talk about all the time, you know. So I want to get into that, and you know, the ugly cry side of things. And quite frankly, you might see some of those tears here during the course of the shows. So yeah, I mean, I want to discuss the marketing stuff. I want to discuss the business stuff, sure, but I also want to discuss you know, the realities of building a home-based business in a toxic environment or abusive or unstable environment. So many of you may be in a place where you're trying to build this dream and you're living with someone, whether it's a spouse or a family member or whatever, that just doesn't understand what your vision is. So we want to tackle some of that stuff. Can't do it today, but I promise you we'll tackle it in one of our upcoming episodes. So basically what you can expect from this show is it'll be about 30 to 45 minutes. At least I'll try to keep it 35, 45 minutes, you know, unless we're really getting into some good content. And we're going to have really great guests. I'm going to be doing some interviews. So in addition to me just talking, I'll mix it up with some interviews with some fabulous Shero entrepreneurs who are out there really doing some really wonderful things in the online community and making some waves. So we'll bring some great experts to help you build your business, help you in your life, and all of that fun stuff. You can also expect me to share a lot of my mistakes. One of the things that I feel liberated about leaving my abusive marriage is just the ability to just be me and be real. And you know, because when you're in an environment where you kind of have to put on this mask because you don't want people to know that this is happening to you. You don't want people to know that stuff is bad at home. And so, you know, I lived that for a long time, and it was really hard to present my business in a way that was real and authentic, you know. And so now I plan on just bearing it all, you know, starting with this episode, not bearing it all like, you know, like that, but, you know, just really being real about the mistakes that I make as I'm making them. You know, I plan on being a guinea pig so that you can learn from my mistakes as well. So I plan on just sharing with you some of the things that I'm doing to rebuild. I'm basically in the rebuilding process, and I'm rebuilding my business, I'm rebuilding my life, and I'm using the skills that I've used to work for some of the most successful people online. Thank God I had an opportunity to do that in spite of my situation. So I'm just using all of my experience, all my knowledge, all of my skills to set something up that's going to be really beautiful. At least in my mind, it's really going to be really beautiful. You can expect honesty, honesty that makes you laugh, honesty that sometimes makes you cry, and maybe even want to slap the screen a little bit. Like, hey man, yes, you know. So let me just dive into the topic today, because what I want to talk about is this hands-free marketing project and what that actually is and why you may want to do it too. So I mentioned earlier about, you know, how I came from this abusive environment, and again, it's really hard to grow your business in that environment. So, you know, how many of you watching or listening are in a situation like that? And maybe you're not in a situation where, you know, somebody's abusing you and there's like oppression happening, but perhaps your life is just like nonstop. You got a lot on your plate and you have this business and there's all this stuff to do, all these moving pieces. You got to be on social media, you got to blog, blah, 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 blah. And then you got the clients to serve and you got your family to take care of. And oh my God, it just makes you want to take a nap. So this is for you too. So I don't want you to think that this is just for people who, have abusive, toxic relationships. Um, the thing is that marketing and managing your business, as you well know, it takes a lot of work. And when you have life happening that's behind you, it can be quite stressful, and it can be very hard to tame all the moving pieces, especially if you're just starting out. You don't even know where to start. If you've been in the game for any length of time, you're just like frustrated because you're spending all this money on this program and that program, trying to keep up with the content demands and the marketing demands, and trying to bring in some money, but you're doing all this stuff and nothing is working. So the key, as I've learned in my experience, is it's really about finding the right strategy. Finding a strategy that works with what you want to do, where you want to go, and implementing that strategy, sticking to it until it starts to give you the results that you want, at least long enough to see if it is or if it isn't going to give you the results that you want. A lot of times we don't stick with stuff long enough. So the hands-free marketing project, Truman style, is really my attempt to recreate something that I did back in like 2011. So in 2011, I kind of thought that, I had an opportunity to work with some of the more successful online entrepreneurs, the ones that have a name. I'm not going to name drop because it's not important, but I had an opportunity to work with some 6-figure, 7-figure businesses. And of course, my heart is for, people who are just starting out, don't know what to do, and all of that fun stuff. So I worked with both crowds, both people. And I noticed that there was a gap. It was like, okay, so what is it that makes this guru successful, and why is this person over here struggling to attain that level of success? Like, what is it? And you can say it's them getting in their own way, you can say it's a bunch of other things, but at the time, based on where I was in my business and my skill set and experience, I figured that it was because they weren't able to really execute their communication effectively. And so I launched a program called My Content Planner. And My Content Planner was a done for you marketing service. Some of you who followed me at any point may remember this. It was a done for you content creation and marketing service for women entrepreneurs who hated to write, or something like that. That was the stick. And it was a really great program. But I thought to myself, I said, okay, so I'm going to position myself to be able to help other people set up their content, write their blogs, do their social media, and all of that fun stuff. But in order to get clients in my business, I felt like, okay, I needed to kind of walk my talk. I didn't want to be the shoemaker's child, or was it the shoemaker's children or something like that. But I didn't want to be, like sell website design, and I don't have a website, that kind of thing. So I decided, what I'm going to do is stop for about a month to 2 months and take time to create my content. So I took about 30 to 60 days to pre-create my content, blogs, social media, infographics, videos. Like I really I really did it up, and I pre-scheduled a bunch of it to go out on a certain schedule. And once I did that, and I also hired an intern to help me schedule the stuff too, which was cool, and I'll talk about that here in a second if I have time. So anyway, I did all of that, and it was wonderful because it was actually, I actually got to the point where I was like, I feel like I need to be doing something, because you can really get addicted to the chaotic craziness that comes with trying to build a business online. Like you're always doing something and you're always running on a treadmill. So anyway, it was great because I had everything scheduled out for like 6 months or something like that in advance. And so all I had to do was focus on the people who were contacting me, the people who were interacting with my content. And I was able to land several clients. And here's the thing, in spite of my life, craziness behind the scenes with my husband and, police and all kind of craziness that was happening in my marriage and leaving and all of that, right? So I was able to have my marketing working, and I was there online. I mean, I was there enough, I was visible enough for people to see um, what my branding was, uh, to the point where they felt like I could help them and they wanted that help. And so I was able to get clients, I was able to make sales, I was able to make money at a very important time in my life, where if I hadn't set that up, I don't know what I would have done, right? So what I wanted to do was recreate that with the hands-free marketing project. And so my thought was that, or is, my plan is that for the rest of the year, for the rest of 2015, if you're listening to this, then you can kind of look and see whether I've reached my goal. I'm going to work on setting up my business hands free. So that includes marketing, that includes the back end management stuff, that includes webinars, podcasts like this one. So I'm basically going to utilize pre-creating content and use tools and technologies that will allow me to pre-schedule my content. Now, I know this makes some people uncomfortable, but we'll address some of that today. And if we don't have time today, this is going to be an ongoing thing I'm going to be talking about in upcoming episodes, and letting you know what's working, letting you know my wins, letting you know what's not working. So if you want to join me in the process, the more the merrier. But I'm doing it because I want more freedom in my life. I have 3 boys. I don't want to be pasted to my computer all day trying to tweet and post and pin my way to sales and clients and all of that craziness. I love social media. I think it's important. There's a time and a place, but there should be a time, I believe, that you can actually cut it off. Just me. I want to be able to have fun in my business. I want to be able to have fun in my life. I want to be able to hang out with my kids without feeling guilty because I'm not doing something in my business, and vice versa. I'm doing it for more securities, for more financial security, so I can make money easier, right? I'm doing it for accountability, because either I'm going to succeed or fail publicly. It just is what it is. This is just the point that I'm at, y'all. So sister has lived. Okay. So that's really what I plan on doing. So this whole like Truman style thing to this hands-free marketing project is really just, if you've seen the Truman Show, like there's this guy who, lives in this kind of fake reality, and people are watching him from, I don't know if it was like from when he was young or whatever. But I think it was Jim Carrey was in the movie. So anyway, he's living this life, and it's like a reality show, right? Like people are watching him live his life, go through all these different experiences and all of this fun stuff. So that's kind of the concept. Like, you're going to watch me in real time implement some things, and just to kind of put this out there, because I did do a hands-free marketing secrets webinar to show you more about how this process works. So you can go sign up for that. The link is on the screen, but I'll make sure that it's in the show notes as well. But just so it's already starting. Yesterday, I was supposed to do a webinar, and I can't really get into that because we don't have a whole lot of time, but just really quickly, part of my hands-free marketing project is to do what I'm calling hands-free webinars. And webinars are hard, especially if you're doing them live, because really it's just the technology. I mean, if you can get the content, really that's just about practice, but the technology is what just absolutely kills most people. And they have all these cool like webinar software technologies that work with Google Hangouts and all these streaming services, and they don't always play well together. And I don't have a lot of patience for stuff not working, right? So I'm like, okay, well, to me, first of all, with the webinar, people are busy. It makes more sense on both sides for both sides to be able to, produce the webinar when it's most convenient for them, and to watch the webinar when it's most convenient for them. And so that way, each side gets the best content experience. So this is what I'm thinking in my head. The challenge is actually implementing what's in my head and making it a reality. So I found this great tool, this great technology, which I won't share here. I'll share in another episode. Great webinar technology that's going to work. I said, let's pre-record the webinar. Got the webinar pre-recorded. And, I had to do some things because I didn't do the conventional way where you record it with the slides. I was like, we'll just record with the audio and then we'll put the slides to it later. And I was editing this webinar, putting it together, and lo and behold, for whatever reason, like everything crashed on me. And I wasn't able to get the on-demand webinar up in time. And so I just thought, okay, is this going to work? So I'm telling you that to tell you that I'm basically the guinea pig. So, excuse me, I don't know what's happening to my voice. So I'm basically testing this out, and I will find out what works and what doesn't, so that by the time it gets to you, you don't have to worry about that. So let me just say, the 3 areas that I plan to master with this hands-free marketing system is hands-free video / podcasting, which is what you're watching right now, hands-free webinars, which I'm in the process of rolling that out, and hands-free marketing, which is a program that we're actually just rolling out, which actually mirrors that program that I talked to you about earlier. It's actually hands-free marketing 2.0, because the first version was kind of like a trial run. So the hands-free marketing is really all about written, pre-scheduling and pre-creating written social media, email, blog content strategically, not just, I don't do just content and stuff just because, like, everything has to work to some common goal. And so all 3 of these are what I plan to set up to operate in my business. So you get to look over the shoulder. I'll be sharing with you my results. I'll be sharing with you my wins. I'll be sharing with you my mistakes. I'll be sharing with you my failures. And if this sounds like something that you like, Kenya, this sounds really cool. I got a busy schedule. I got a busy day. I got kids too. Or I take care of, aging parents, or I take care of my niece and the nephews, or whatever. Or I'm just busy and I would rather spend my time doing other stuff. I would love to follow you and join you in this process. Come on. I welcome you to join me in this journey, because it's definitely going to be a challenge. I can already tell now just by the way things have been going. So, but definitely check out the Hands-Free Marketing Secrets webinar, the free training. I'll walk you through all the steps of that particular system. So you can go check that out now. Each of these segments, I want to share a freedom resource with you. And the resource that I'm going to share today is called Audello. I should have got some water. I think next time I'll have some water. Audello, and I'm just going to show it to you really quickly. You can kind of look it over. Audello is actually what I'm using to roll out my podcast. We're not on iTunes yet, but we will be soon. I just have to get some things set up first before I make that leap. And so, but this is really cool because I know a lot of you, are on Blog Talk Radio and some of the other ones, and those are great. If you are, you might just want to kind of check this out and see if it is something that can serve your purposes. I like Audello because it does, what most of the other ones do. It allows you to syndicate your podcast. But it does something even better, which I love, because marketing to me is the big factor and why I chose this software to run my podcast. And the marketing possibilities. I'm gonna have to do a whole show dedicated to Audello. I think that's what I'll do. But it has the features, and as you watch me roll out this podcast, you'll see the different things that you can do with it and how the potential is just crazy. So definitely check out Audello as your freedom resource for today. I'm not going to play the video because you don't need to. You can play it on your own. But right now, it looks like I got it for $97, and it looks like it's still $97. So you might want to take advantage of that before they up the price or whatever. So check out Audello as your resource for today. That'll be something that you'll be seeing and hearing more about as we go forward. And so let me just walk you through 6 lessons that I've learned so far with the hands-free marketing process. So the first lesson that I've learned is, first of all, if you're going to go hands-free, you have to make the decision. You have to commit to, because it's not easy, but I think the biggest thing with the hands-free marketing system is all about the setup, right? It's just the biggest difference between hands-free marketing and the way that most people market online or just in general is that you do a lot of setup up front so that you can, have the freedom and have the time and have the results on the back end later, right? So you set it up once, and then it gives you that momentum, and then after that you have a system in place that you can repeat, and it just becomes super easy. So that's the first lesson, is to make a decision. Don't dilly-dally, say this is what I'm going to do, and don't worry about whether other people get it. The second lesson that I learned is, that's the second lesson. Don't worry about if other people get it. Some people want to be stressed out and post to Instagram and Facebook and LinkedIn and Twitter and hope that they'll get a sale or hope that it'll turn into a client, right? I'm not into hope marketing. So, so just don't worry about it. Just do what you do. If you have a vision and you're like, you know what, I want to set this up for myself so I can, have marketing happening over the holidays, or I can go on vacation and not have to worry about disappearing from being visible and all that fun stuff, do it. The third lesson that I've learned so far is to fire perfectionism. I need some drum rolls for that. Fire perfectionism. Like right now, this is me firing perfectionism, because there's so many things wrong with the way that I'm rolling out this podcast right now, and it's bothering me a little bit. But this is just what I've told myself, to imperfect action is everything. All right. If you want to make something happen, take imperfect action. Plan, but don't obsess. You know what I mean? Like, the hands-free marketing system is really all about planning, but you can't get so caught up in planning. You have to execute and you have to implement as well. Right? So it's a delicate balance. And it really takes you just saying, you know what, I'm going to take imperfect action. I'm going to be honest and upfront and transparent about what I'm doing, so that people can, because we don't buy robotic brands. I think we buy more from people that we can relate to, and we can see, the mistakes that they're making, and they're upfront with it, and they're honest with it, and they're having fun with it. Like, that's just where I am now. That's the space that I'm in now. The fourth lesson that I learned is to do something, if you want to be all proper like about it. Do something, take action, kind of just what I said, take imperfect action. And the fifth lesson that I've learned is to start making a list of all the stuff that you want to do once your marketing is on autopilot. So this is the fun part for me. Once you get the pieces in place and you have everything set up in the way that you want to, what are some of the things that you're going to do with that extra time? I'm having fun with that list. I think I'm going to create my list and post it, because I think that'll be a fun thing to share. And so the sixth lesson that I learned is to hire a podcasting intern. This is great. I just brought on a podcast and intern, and let me tell you, it is awesome. Okay, so maybe I'll just do a show dedicated to that because there's a lot more I can go into what I've learned just from hiring the intern. But so those are the things that I've learned so far. And I'll be sharing more lessons and more mistakes and more ahas as the podcast rolls out and as I have these experiences. So, I'm going to leave you with an ACT formation, ACT formation. One of the things that you'll learn about me is that I'm really in this space of taking action, imperfect action. And the affirmations are just designed to help you focus and manifest the part of yourself that needs to be present in order to make your ideas and your dreams and all of that fun stuff happen, right? So we don't get so caught up in having these great ideas and that never come to life, right? So today's affirmation is, I am deliberate and intentional about designing my business to fit my life. And I thought that was so fitting for what we're talking about today because, this is really about saying, you know what, I know there's a lot of different marketing strategies out there, but this is what I want to do and I want to free myself. So I am going to press the pause button on all of the shiny objects coming my way. And I'm going to take time to set my business up so that it fits my life and not have my life trying to fit in my business box, if that makes sense. I did that for years. And some of it was because my business was the only thing that I had that I felt like I owned and I could control. So I just lost myself in it and just tried to shut off everything else because my life was so crazy with the crazy marriage. But I just believe that there should be a balance and we deserve a balance. I call my tribe and all of you listening, Shero entrepreneurs. And I call you that because, you exist to serve a purpose. You created this business to help someone show up bigger and better in their own life and business. But you also deserve to benefit from your efforts. And so, why not set up your business so you can actually wake up to a life and a business that you actually love, right? And it's not stressful so much. I mean, of course, you're going to have some stress, but you can design the life that you actually want to live. You can have that. And that's what I've actually come to learn and believe. So I'm going to let you go. Thank you so much for hanging out with me for this first episode. I'm looking forward to looking back on this episode and thinking wow, I've come a long way. But here it is, right? In perfect action. So let me just close by saying, in order to engage with me on this podcast, ask questions and engage with the content in this podcast, since I'm not live, at least not right now, visit the link on your screen to continue the discussion on my blog, or visit KenyaHalliburton.com to subscribe to the podcast. That's going to take you directly to the show notes for this particular episode, so you can engage directly with the content in this particular episode in the comment section on my blog. Or you can visit KenyaHalliburton.com and just make sure that you subscribe to the podcast so that you can get the updates and know when there's a new episode coming. My goal is to post a new podcast every Wednesday. So that is my goal, because this is going to be an on-demand podcast, at least right now, as I roll out the hands-free stuff. Maybe it'll be live at some point, or maybe periodically I'll do live episodes. I don't know. I'm just kind of figuring it out. But for right now, if you want to engage with me, then you can visit the link on your screen. That'll take you to the show notes. You can engage on my blog. Sign up for the podcast at KenyaHalliburton.com. We're not on iTunes or Stitcher yet. That's coming, so I'll share that as we roll that out. You can also engage on YouTube if you want. The YouTube comment section, if that's something that is comfortable for you, because the video version of this podcast is going to be on YouTube. definitely go ahead and do that. I would love for you to comment there as well. And if you want to just engage with me on an ongoing basis, I wanted to invite you to my Money Marketing and Freedom Action Mind community. It's a complimentary community to this podcast, and it is so fun. I mean, I'm telling you, you have never, well, maybe you have, but I've never been a part of a masterminding community like this one. And this is really a different, a little bit of a different take on the masterminding concept. It's masterminding in action, and you just have to kind of get in to see what I'm talking about. We do challenges. It's more than just talking about what you want to do and then we send you off to do it and then we check in to see if you did it. Like, we collectively as a group come up with, you know, what some of the things, the common goals are that we're trying to have, and we create a challenge out of it. And during the course of a week or 30 days, we come together to make that happen. So it's a fairly new community, but the action and the activity, the women entrepreneurs in there are just absolutely amazing. I mean, it's such a blessing just to be a part of them and them helping me and me helping them, and we're all helping each other. So anyway, go sign up for the community. Join us there. You see the link on your screen. Again, the link to the community will also be embedded in the show notes for this episode. And that's it. I hope that you enjoyed this information. If you did, great. Please let me know what you would like to see on the show, what I can improve as we roll and move forward. I'm going to be doing another show on action minding, which is the concept that we're doing in the community. So that's going to be fun. I think I'll bring some of the girls from the community in on that one. So you don't just have to hear me drone on like an instructor. So that's it. I'm going to let you go, but thank you so much for hanging in there with me. Thank you for listening to me. Thank you for watching me. And I look forward to sharing a lot of information with you, a lot of inspiration with you to help you grow your business and live a better life. All right. So until next time, I wish you an abundance of success, joy, and freedom.